Alright guys, so basically what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be knocking out DSG trans service. It's a Mark 6 GTI, so it's 2.0, and it has the DSG in it, so I'm going to run you through the basics of how to do that. It's really straightforward. You can do it at home, don't let anybody tell you that you can't, so let's do this. Yeah. Right back there's the filter. So. See right there.
So personally, I'm going to end up using this 24-25 millimeter combo swivel head platinum wrench. Works great for this job. Obviously, if you don't do this day in day out, you're not going to, more than likely not going to have this wrench. But it's definitely a full set that I would recommend getting. I have the 8 through 19 and also the 21, 22, and 24, 25 combinations, and they are great. I'll try and leave the link below. So this is you pulling the DSG filter cap off of the cartridge. You're going to want to throw some rags down because you're going to end up getting DSG fluid all over the place. So the rags are just going to sit here and try to minimize the mess. Once you get your little work area prepped, just reach back in there and grab the filter cartridge. Should pull right off. It's just on a little pedestal. That's the DSG filter there. So go ahead and clean up your hands. Make sure you don't have any dirt or anything. So this is my Winkler Blue Ridge Hunter knife. Absolutely love this thing. Definitely one of the best investments I've ever bought. A little pricey, but man, it's great. So go ahead and open up your new filter. Go ahead and throw it back on the little pedestal in which you pulled the old one off. You'll know whenever it's in there. Grab you a 90-degree pick. We're going to use that to pull the O-ring off of the filter cap. You definitely want to replace this. Don't attempt risking reusing that. If you attempt to actually reuse that guy, you'll definitely have leaks. So go ahead and clean the cap with just some brake cleaner. Throw your new O-ring on there. Grab you a little bit of dielectric grease and lube the O-ring. Grab you your ratcheting wrench or ratchet and your 24 millimeter wobble socket. Go ahead and grab that guy, and then you're going to go down there and torque this guy to 20 Newton meters, as you can see on screen here. Don't over tighten it, you stand the chance of shattering it. It's like a fiber reinforced plastic or something. Don't want to break that off, because you're just going to add unnecessary work to yourself. Alright guys, so go ahead and reinstall your air box or your intake pipe, depending on obviously what your car has on it. Go ahead and tighten up your worm clamps. But also don't forget to plug up your MAF sensor. And we're gonna raise the car up. You can do this in the driveway. I've definitely done it in the driveway before. But the main thing is having the car level. So if you're gonna jack it up in the driveway, at least put it on 4 jack stands and have the vehicle level. That's gonna be imperative in setting the fluid level. So go ahead and grab your breaker bar. Take this 14mm hex drain bolt loose. You're gonna have a little fluid come out. Don't mess up here and think that that's all the fluid. You need to take your 8mm hex and take this little plastic pipe out. It's not gonna be tight. It's gonna be really loose. You can do it with your fingers. But this pipe here, notice it's like a long pipe. So what that does is that sets the level. So once that's screwed up in there, once you get to 35 degrees Celsius, any extra fluid is going to be able to flow over the top of the pipe and come out. So that's how the level's set, if that makes sense to you. So go ahead and reinstall the pipe. It's going to be torqued to 3 Newton meters. So basically finger tight. Don't over tighten it. You will make a mess of things. So next is going to be figuring out how you're going to go about filling the trans. I actually have a air over hydraulic filler that I bought off of Amazon. It works great. Took a risk on it. It was definitely worth buying. So you can do it that way, or you can do it with a Harbor Freight hand pump. Either way, you need something to screw in from the bottom. You can fill it from the top, the filter housing, but I highly recommend doing it from the bottom. So you're gonna have to figure out some sort of rig there to, you know, be able to screw into the bottom. This is the filler that I was telling you about. Works great. It's fairly cheap too, I think. So go ahead and clean up your workspace so you're not tripping over things. Go ahead and plug in and then hook up the shop air supply to it. Don't blow it up. Obviously, read the manual and look at what you know recommended pressure is. But go ahead and fill the trans. So make sure to replace the crush washer. I've seen people not replace this, and I have seen it leak. So it's imperative that you replace the crush washer on it. It's a single use also, so just make a mental note of that. You have some fluid come out. Don't really worry about it. Plug it as quick as you can. The main thing is having enough in there to be able to crank the car up, run it through the gears, and at 35 degrees you're going to break the thing back loose. So don't bother torquing it. You're going to ruin that crush washer. So, you know, snug it up, but don't torque it to spec fully. So once you get it snugged up, go ahead and disconnect everything. Get everything out from underneath the car, because you're going to have to drop it down to run it through the gears. Alright guys, and at this point here, once you get the car dropped down, you're going to want to go in, crank the vehicle up with your foot on the brake, holding the brake and the parking brake applied. Run the car through the gears roughly about 2 or 3 seconds per gear, just enough to get, you know, DSG fluid in all those circuits and everything. That way you're setting the level correctly and you don't end up ultimately having too little in there once you drain it out at 35 degrees Celsius. So with your foot on the brake, parking brake applied, run through the gears 2 to 3 seconds each. So neutral, reverse, drive, and sport. You're obviously not going to be able to engage each of the individual gears, but main thing right here is just running it through there. So make a note, the car is still running at this time. You're going to want to plug in something that you can measure the temperature of the trans fluid, whether that's an OBD port, diagnostic tool, snap-on, or whatever. You need to get the car around 35 to 45 degrees centigrade. Don't get too hot, obviously it's going to expand more with more heat. 35 degrees is baseline, so that's the minimum in which I would recommend checking it. You're going to have some fluid flow out. That little pipe in there, the little 8mm hex pipe that we put in, that's setting the fluid level here. So allow it to, drain out what it wants to drain out, and then you're going to screw the drain plug back in. Now we can torque this thing to spec. Go ahead and grab you a torque wrench, and what we're going to do, we're going to set that torque wrench to 33 Newton meters. Go ahead and torque it. Alright guys, well that just about wraps it up. I just want to take a moment and express my gratitude for all the wonderful subscribers here on YouTube. Each and every one of you is a valued member of my community, and I'm so grateful for that support. Your views, comments, shares all mean the world to me, and I couldn't do this without you. Your encouragement and feedback keeps me motivated. Keeps me motivated to create more and improve on my content. I'm so excited to continue creating and sharing my content with you, and I look forward to grow together as a community. Thanks again for being part of my journey, and I can't wait to see where we go together.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the